By now, you guys have already heard the bad news. Jennifer Lopez has officially filed for divorce from Ben Affleck.
It's really over. Jennifer Lopez has just filed for divorce from Ben Affleck on their second wedding anniversary. It has been speculated for months that the two had quietly separated, and it's now been confirmed that the date of their split was back in April in Jennifer's court filing. If you didn't know, the two rekindled their whirlwind romance from back in the early 2000s, and since then things have been rocky. An insider claimed that a big reason for the divorce was lack of communication and having completely different approaches to work and home life, with Ben allegedly not being for all the fame and attention, but J-Lo liking to stay busy and in the spotlight.
And this is rather sad because this is their second time going after the relationship. They broke up after being engaged 20 years ago, and after many mates, she decided that she wanted to give it a chance with him. But unfortunately, it just didn't turn out that way. But Ben Affleck is not the only person dealing with issues like this, but the normal guy also deals with these same issues. You see, guys like me and you deal with ladies like Jennifer Lopez all the time. They may not be as rich or as popular or as beautiful, but the same problems that celebrities deal with, so do us as normal men. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should always avoid ladies like Jennifer Lopez. Rule number 1, her dating history matters. Now, a lot of men feel that they're special. And let me give you an example. Just the other day, I was talking to a buddy of mine who met a guy that I feel is somewhat of a scammer. And he was telling me that this guy and him had a great talk and, they're friends and they're buddies now. But I was telling a guy that this dude has somewhat of a bad history. And he was telling me like, hey, listen, well, just because you have a bad experience with the guy, it doesn't mean that I'm going to have a bad experience with the person. And that can be true. I mean, people can be different based on different opportunities. But usually, like my grandma used to always say, a tiger never changes their stripes. And when we look at Jennifer Lopez and her dating history, this tiger has the same stripes for a long time. Her first marriage was to a person by the name of Ojani Noah. He was an actor. That was from 1997 to 1998. Then she married Chris Judd from 2001 to 2003. Then Mark Anthony, who she has twins with, from 2004 to 2014. Now, in between that time, she actually dated Ben Affleck and P. Diddy. God damn! Booty clappers him! Stop the show. I know for a fact that she was at some of those booty clapping parties that P. Diddy was at. Now, also, she got engaged to Alex Rodriguez in 2019 before calling it quits in 2021. For a guy who's smart, you would look at this history and say, I'm not more special than this history. Some guys look at this and say, oh, well, she was dealing with a whole bunch of fake dudes. Now she about to deal with a real one. Nah, bruh, you're not a real one. You're just a stupid one. All right. You are not different than her background, than her history. You don't know what happened in her childhood. You don't know what happened in her life. And sometimes men try to overcome that, and you just can't overcome that history. Rule number 2, you can't change her. This has a lot to do with rule number 1. Her history matters. And of course, people can change. Let's look at the Apostle Paul in the scriptures. According to the New Testament, there was a guy by the name of Saul who was persecuting Christians. He was a Pharisee, and he had this out-of-body experience in which he met Jesus Christ on the road to Damascus, and he became Paul, and he changed. He changed his life, and he became the person that spread Christianity to the new world more than anybody else ever did. And that's why we believe that he wrote most of the New Testament. Apostle Paul brought the gospel to the Gentiles, but he did it because he wanted to change. Now, he felt compelled to change, but he did it on his own. No one person or one individual made him do so. According to him, it was an out-of-body experience. It had to be an out-of-body experience from you for a person to make you go from a Pharisee to a Christian. But you can't change her. You're not God, and you're definitely not an out-of-body experience. To most ladies, you're normal, and you have to understand that. That doesn't make you a bad person. You're just normal. We feel that, oh, you know, we're tall or we're good looking. Stop the show. I definitely know I'm good looking. You mad? We can feel all of those things. But the reality is, to most ladies, we are normal people. And we might just be a means to an end, or a guy that they text message when they need something, or a guy they hang out with when they need something. And we might feel that we're more important than what we really are. But you cannot change a lady. A lady has to want to change herself to make the relationship better, just as you would have to change yourself to make the relationship better. You would need to put in more effort, like not cheating, not shooting dice, not spending your rent money on weed and stuff like that. That means that you care about the lady. You have to put in effort. And if she is not a person that sees the relationship from that vantage point, there is nothing that you can do to change it. Look at these men who are in sexless relationships. For whatever reason, their wife doesn't want to sleep with them anymore. These guys are still trying to go to counseling, paying bills, taking care of the rent, you know, still being faithful to a wife who wants sleep with them. And they're hoping that she will change. She won't. All right. And when it's obvious that a woman won't change, the only thing that you can do for her is to send her packing. All right. Especially if you have tried and you reach no avail. Number 3, it's not your fault. You see, guys, there are a lot of things in the relationship that we can take to our graves and believing that it ended because of us. Look at Ben Affleck. In 2002 to 2003, he probably looked at a lot of the things that he did in his first go around with Jennifer Lopez and said, man, I made a lot of mistakes. I really wish I had an opportunity to deal with her again. And 20 years brings a lot of maturity for most people, most men. You see the world more or less for what it really is. The world is not so much about you. And sometimes you look at old relationships and old flings and say, you know, if I just had another opportunity to do that, I could make it right. Well, Ben Affleck got his opportunity after 20 long years. It ended the same way it did the first time. And did he make mistakes? Of course. Any person can make mistakes. But see, he's vindicated in the fact that every relationship she's had in that time frame has been severely unsuccessful, no matter who she's with. Okay. And a lot of times men can sit back and blame themselves for why a relationship didn't work out or whatever else. And if she's such a good catch, what you will find is a man coming to get her, marrying her, wifing her up. And basically you will live a whole life of regret because you let a good thing go. But if you look at your ex relationships and if you're serious, do you really see that? Like if you have baby mama or ex-wife, who is really beating down their doorstep? That's the question that you would ask yourself. Now, if they are, then yeah, you're at fault. Then you should probably work on yourself, and you still need to work on yourself. But the reality is that this is not the case for the most part. Okay. You made some mistakes, but it's not really all your fault. Okay. She has this tendency all the time. And you need to still work on yourself, but there's nothing you can do to change a woman's situation. You can't be more nice to her when she has a bad history of relationships or personal problems or don't want to change or don't want to give, or she doesn't want to give you the kind of love you want in a relationship. There's nothing much you can do about that. You can try to do something about that, but then you're going to be the one looking stupid. You're going to be the one looking hurt. And you need to get over the fact that you couldn't help her. You need to get over the fact that she's just not worth being in a relationship with. And that can be perfectly fine. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Usher D. Jackson, back at it again with an episode of Celebrity Drunk. Appreciate you for all you do. This is Curtis Bell. We're out.